And we are rolling on this 20th day of June at UCLA in Los Angeles. It's kind of an overcast day. It's usually sunny. Today, Pharaoh is going to share with us his sociological experiment in trying to be respectful to everyone he met for 48 hours. So, Mr. Pharaoh, you have the... Can you time, please? Or would you like to borrow my I6?
Is it my 4 too inaccurate?
I4, I guess we'll have to live with it. Okay, right?
Hi, I am Pharaoh.
Hi, Pharaoh.
As Lawrence Stern said, respect for ourselves guides our morals. Respect for others guides our manners. Today, I want to share with you about 3 stories that I have experienced, bad, good and ugly. I want to explain you that respect is a feeling that comes from morality. My first story is about good experience. 2 days ago, I'm very bored with Sarah's complaints about her hungry, and I decided to go and play basketball near my home at Westwood Park. Some guys are playing there, and I started to watch their game. I'm sorry. I'm at the end of the game. I said some of them. I respect you, and he said thanks, bro. It was good for me.
Mm-hmm.
And after 20 minutes, they made new team, and the guy I said before, I respect you, invited me to game, and we played together. In result of this issue, we played together and won the game. It was good experience for me, and I have gained new friends. The second story is about my bad experience. At the end of the match, I went to Subway to eat something. Before my giving order, I said to cashier, I respect you. She didn't answer me. She just stared at me, and she didn't care of my showing respect. She started to talk other customer, and I went different Subway to eat something. The last story about my ugly experience. I was walking on the street and just thinking about my how to show my last respect. Who didn't see me come at me, and I said instantly, I respect you. He said, what you said? I said again, I respect you. He started to grumbling at my face, and he was very rude man. I wanted to punch his face, but I was gone my own way. What I learned from this experiment is, I believe that cultures is key thing about behaviors, about showing behaviors. Because if you do the same thing in Turkey, 70% of people don't answer your showing respect or asking something. You can understood my ugly speech. So I'm Turkish. I wanted to punch his face. This guy. In conclusion, showing. I will remember.
I've told you the good, the bad, the ugly.
I told you the good, the bad, ugly story about my showing respect.
And now tie back to Mr. Lawrence, your first quote. Remember what he said?
I don't remember.
Respect for ourselves guides our morals. Respect for others guides our manners. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's give it Pharaoh some feedback. Let's start here. Stand up, say your name.
Hi, my name is Cynthia.
Cynthia.
For getting back.
What a tragedy.
Huh?
What a tragedy.
I think that he told us preview of the stories he was going to tell us. So like he said this is a good story and an ugly story. And he said a bad story.
So he was able to follow him. Yeah. Thank you, Cynthia. Improvement?
Hi,
What's your name?
Deanna.
Hi, Deanna.
You are doing really well, but I feel like you lose confidence in yourself. That way you start to struggle. So just like believe that you're doing really well because you really are, and you can speak really good English.
Yeah, a little louder next time, Deanna. Pharaoh. Well, the first thing is, and you need to learn to follow directions of the assignment more carefully. Because the assignment was not to walk around and to say to people verbally, I respect you, right? It was to say non-verbally, I respect you.
She said like that. You have to do like this.
So blame Sarah.
Because last week when I did in my speech I did it in a non-verbal way.
Yeah.
So when in your feedback you said that you should do I respect you, I respect you. So I thought that we should it's better to do.
No, you say it to yourself. Your mantra to yourself.
Okay.
You repeat your mantra to yourself. It was a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Yes, because what you did, people will think you're weird, and they did. So, whether it's Turkey or Tunisia or America. So, you started with Lawrence Stern, a good quote. Tie back to Lawrence Stern at the end, and you have bookends. That's what you want to have in every speech. You had a thesis preview. You're going to tell us about the good, the bad, the ugly. You did that. Fine. And then you had some reference to this is culturally determined. So you told us the good story. And you said you were watching guys play basketball, and you told one of them verbally, I respect you. And he fortunately let you play later and chose you, and you found that to be good. You could have accomplished the same thing, I think, non-verbally, just by nodding, flicking your wrist. You weren't here for the respect exercise we did, but you could have accomplished the same thing to say, I respect you non-verbally, by saying it to yourself as a mantra. Do you know what a mantra is?
No.
Do you know what a mantra is?
I know, but I can't remember.
A mantra is a word or expression that you repeat to yourself silently. Like in India, if you had a teacher, he would give you a sound that you would say to meditate on, like Om, Om. And you close your eyes and repeat Om, and you follow it until it gets quieter and quieter. That's a mantra. We have a verbal mantra we say silently to ourselves. So you say, I respect you. And you give off respectful vibrations, see? Do you understand now? Yeah. So your second point, it doesn't surprise me that the subway girl thought you were weird. So if you just gave her nonverbal respect, it probably would have worked out better. The same with your third story about the guy on the street. Just walk down the street and say, as you're walking down the street, you look over this young lady and look at her right now and say, I respect you. Do it now. Right here, to her. No, to her. No. Stand there. I want you to say, I respect you to her. Yeah, only don't lip sync it like Milli Vanilli. Just keep your lips silent. See? Can you say it to yourself and look at her and mean it? Yeah. Got it? Yeah. That's it. Yeah, good. Your summary conclusion lacked I have told you about the good, the bad, the ugly. What I learned was good. You learned that there's cultural dimensions. So you got the job done, Pharaoh. Let's hear it for Pharaoh. Thank you. Very good. Okay. All right. Is Sarah here? You did your respect speech. Okay. Good. All right. Let's move on to. And you did your intro speech, right, Sarah? Yeah. So we need to hear from. I'm not going to make you go twice in a row. Devanshu. Is Devanshu here?
No, he's not here.
Okay, we lost him. Cynthia. Well, give it a try. You can whisper to me close by. Just stand very close to the camera. You notice Cynthia's doing her film speech. She has a New York Times review, her self-evaluation. Nicely typed up in 7-part outline. Just whisper it.
My name's Cynthia.
Hi, Cynthia.
What's the first thing you think of when you hear LA or Los Angeles? Beaches, Hollywood, Disneyland films, of course, right? But do any of you know South LA or East LA? Or do any of you think about immigration or homelessness? Not likely. But today I want to share with you a film that really moves me, called Under the Same Moon. It's about immigrating to Los Angeles. And in a 2008 film review, movie critic Jeanette wrote that the movie was meant to, for critics to use the word heartwarming. And I disagree with this. I think this movie is about a love that knows no borders, laws, no boundaries, and has no expiration dates. So the movie made me feel in three ways. It made me feel anxious, it made me grateful, and it made me feel mad. Sorry. So the first way this movie made me feel was anxious. The scene in the movie that made me feel anxious was when Carlitos, the main character, who's 9-year-old boy, would wait for his mother's call every Sunday at 10 a.m. Rosario, which was a mom, would call from LA to Mexico. And on this particular day, it was his ninth birthday, and she asked him if he had gotten his present, and he said yes. It was new shoes, and he was already wearing them. And she said, oh, do you need anything else? And he just said, you. And this made me feel anxious, and it reminded me of when my parents immigrated to the United States. And we lived in a really small town in Mexico, and there was only a few houses with a telephone, so they had to arrange a day and time to call my sisters and I, and it was Sunday at noon. So we would go to the house every Sunday and wait for their call, and I always wanted to hear that, you know, oh, we finally made an appointment for the residency, and that we're gonna reunite. But days passed, Sundays kept coming, and moons kept vanishing. And almost a year later, I finally heard like what I wanted to hear, which was we finally had an appointment for the residency. The second way this film made me feel was it made me feel grateful. The scene that made me feel this way was when Carlitos managed to cross the border and ended up in a restaurant, and he was helping wash the dishes in return for food and shelter. The people there always respected him, and despite his young age, they always encouraged him and told him that things always end up working out one way or another. This reminded me of when we were in a border town near Texas called Ciudad Juarez, which was supposed to be a really dangerous town at the time. So my dad didn't want us to stay there for a long time. But the first time we had an appointment, we got denied our residency, and we had to wait a whole week for a second hearing. My dad didn't want to do that because, you know, he kept hearing that this is a dangerous town, you shouldn't be here for too long, especially if you're not from the area, like people notice. But my mom convinced him that we should give it a second try since we were already there. We would never really go outside the room unless we needed to go get food. So we went to a corner store, and the lady there greeted us as if she knew us from before, and she gave my sisters and I bread or milk or anything she had. But most importantly, she gave my parents hope. She told them that she had met a lot of people that were denied the residency the first time and ended up getting it the second time or the third try. So every time we went back to the room, I would see my parents hope rekindle. And they're like, well, maybe we will get it. And I was really grateful that the lady, even if she didn't know we were going to get it or not, she kept telling them that we were, and that she kept a positive outlook, and that made my parents be positive. The third way this film made me feel was mad. The scene that made me feel mad was when Rosario, the mother, was cleaning a house in LA, and when she was done, she asked the boss if she needed anything else, and the boss said, no, I'm just going to have to let you go, as in like fire her. And then Rosario was wondering, like, oh, did I do anything wrong? And she was like, no, I just want to try somebody new. This reminded me one day when I was working on a Saturday in the fields with my father, and the boss thought that we could get the job done in 6 hours. He was like, oh, you guys are going to work 6 hours, you guys could have a 15-minute break. And so the 6 hours came by and we weren't done. But he just came and he's like, oh, I mean, you guys already worked 6 hours, so what's like 30 minutes more? This made me so mad because, yes, we worked for 30 minutes and we got to go home earlier, but I wanted to tell him, like, there's a law that says you could get a break after 6 hours, a 30-minute lunch. But then my dad knows me, so he noticed that I was like a little upset, and he reminded me that there was a lot of undocumented people there, and that if I was going to say something, I had to talk to them first, because I was only there for the summer and I didn't want to get them in trouble. So I was just super mad that he used the law of having to have a document to work here to break a human right of getting a break. So in summary, I told you 3 ways that this movie made me feel. It made me feel anxious, it made me feel grateful, and it made me feel mad. and there should be no doubt in this room that this film moved me. I'm really grateful that I now have my family together and that I could see past the glamour of LA. And I invite you guys to go and explore LA, and I assure you there's more than meets the eye. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. Okay, where are we? We're here, I guess. Yes, please.
No, good things, right?
Yes, good things. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Pedro.
Hi,
I
Pedro.
really like the way you link the film, like to your personal experience, and like to the idea of LA being not just Hollywood and like the three things together. They're really good.
Glitter, 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 Beverly Hills and beaches. Yeah. Improvement.
Hi, my name is Isa too.
Hi, Isa too.
Hi. Her room is like good work on
Yeah. Cynthia, well, thank you for manning up and doing it, even though you have a crackly voice. I appreciate you coming through and doing it anyway. You started with a rhetorical question, sort of the way Charles Dickens did in A Tale of Two Cities. It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. It's Beverly Hills, it's Beverly Glen, it's the barrio, right? So you were trying to show some contrast about, Disneyland and then homeless and immigration, which people live very differently in certain portions of our city. So that you set the tone right away for what your speech was going to be about, and that was a good transition for your film Under the Same Moon. You need to say the full name of the reviewer and the date and whether you agree or disagree with her quotes, okay? Then your sixth statement was fine, and then you told us first that you felt anxious, and you told us why, because your parents were supposed to call you every Sunday at noon, and for over a year they didn't, and so you wondered what's going on, and that's why I felt anxious. So that was good communication of emotion. We felt you relive it. It was good felt sensing, so that worked well. We felt it too. On your second emotion, grateful, you talked to us about living in a crummy city called something Juarez, and being paranoid to leave your room because it was a tough city, and yet you found some hope in that city as someone that was kind to you and your family and gave you food and bread and most importantly hope, and that's why you felt grateful. So you relived that experience, told us enough details, and so that was well done. On your third emotion that you were trying to share with us, mad, here's where I think you could have perhaps done a better job. You told us that the setup from the movie was the cleaning lady that cleaned the house and didn't get paid. So what are you going to do? Call the police? And it reminded you of when you were working in the fields and you got screwed by a labor boss who tried to exploit you, and yet you were hopeless to do anything about it. And I would have liked you to have gotten more of the anger and madness that you felt and remembered it and shared it and let it really come out of you. It was more cerebral than feeling I felt. Summary was fine, your conclusion was fine, and your tieback was fine. Here were your canais. Be more dynamic. Move 3 times. Make eye contact with the audience. How'd it go?
I think the two last ones went well. I don't know about dynamic. I couldn't really.
Yeah, you're hamstrung by that. But overall, you understood the assignment and what you were supposed to be doing. And for the most part, you did it. So that was good. Thank you. Okay. Any volunteers? No, I gotta call on people. 1 to 3. We need to get to hear from. Okay, Pharaoh, you ready to do another one? Or you want us to go on to the PCs and come back in a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's PC time, ladies and gentlemen. Any volunteers for the PC? Oh, has a roll sheet circulated? It's right there.
Yeah.
Great. Everyone signed it? Praise the Lord. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay. All right, I'll just call on people. Have I circulated, yes I did, a copy of the A paper on how the final should look and how it should be structured? Did everyone get a chance to look at that? Cynthia didn't. There's 2 copies. Where's the second copy? You have the second copy? Okay.
Can I take a look?
Yeah. They'll show it to you in a minute. Follow the format exactly, and you'll be in good shape. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know how to format a movie review like that?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You do it in Word.
Final is on Wednesday, right? Next week on
What?
or final exam.
Yes.
It's on Wednesday.
Is it due Monday or Wednesday?
Wednesday. Next Wednesday. Why? Would you rather turn it in Monday?
No, I just want to
Okay. Any volunteers? Okay, let me go down the column. It came up on Sarah. Okay. You got the idea?
Yep.
Yeah. Good. Did you need to look at it? Yeah. Did you need to see it? Yeah. Okay. Sarah stands before you, managing attention in the power stance. You can take a step forward, communicating respect non-verbally. Non-verbally. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone. Desire is the key to motivation, but it's determination and commitment to an unrelenting pursuit of your goal that will enable you to attain the success you seek, said Mario Andretti, who is a champion of American Formula One pilot. Okay, I'm sorry. Today I will share with you about my personal commitment of playing piano. I will give you 2 reasons that why I am personally committed to playing piano, and 3 actions that I have taken so far to demonstrate about my personal commitment to piano. Every people do something to improve their lives, and they choose commonly to make exercise, and they care about their nutrition. But it's undeniable that people that playing piano has some contributions to people to ones who play them, both mentally and physically. So it develops the eye-hand combination, the motor skills, and it develops cognitive development. It helps to develop cognitive development. And so now I will tell you about two reasons that why I'm personally committed to playing piano. The first reason that I'm personally committed to playing piano is that it reduces anxiety and stress. So there are lots of researches that prove this. People who play piano has a lower level of depression. So I will tell you a story about this one from my life. I was in my junior year in university, and I have just finished my statistics exam, and I was feeling so horrible because my exam was terrible, and I thought that I'm going to fail from that lesson. So I just went home, and because of my mood was so bad, I didn't want to go out and even hang out with my friends. So I just sit in the home, and I was in a terrible mood. So then I decided to make some practice on playing piano. And when I sit on my chair, I didn't realize how much time that I have spent on playing piano. And when my practice has finished, I found myself that I played non-stop for 2 hours. And without my idea of statistics exam didn't come on my mind for a second. So I was feeling myself very relaxed, and I felt so happy because I have such a hobby that I could relieve myself in this way. So it made me feel happy. The second reason that I'm personally committed to playing piano is that it has a remarkable value. Maybe you know, if there is someone who plays instruments in this room, piano is one of the hardest instruments to play. So even musicians have respect. People have respect for the ones who play piano. So I will again tell you a story about this from my life. It was like 3 years ago, and I was having a conversation with my supervisor when I was doing my intern, and it was a conversation about music. So when I said him that I play piano, he also said me that his son also took lessons to learn piano, but it was so hard for him that he finally gave up. And when we had this conversation, I felt that he respected me because I was playing piano, and I was doing something that his son couldn't do and gave up. So he respected me, so it made me feel happy and elegant maybe. So I was feeling happy about that. Now I will give you 3 actions that I have taken so far to demonstrate my personal commitment to playing piano. First of all, I can tell you that the biggest action that I have done so far is that I try to make practice regularly, because it's so important when you play a musical instrument. It's so important to do it regularly. So since nearly 20 years, I try to do it regularly to improve myself and improve my skills. Secondly,
I read and type the notes and do type reading.
Yes,
yeah.
Playing piano is not just reading the notes and just typing them on the keyboard, so you should feel the soul of the music and feel how the compositor has composed it. And in order to feel that, I try to, again, regularly listen music from all the compositors around the world. So I try to improve myself. I try to improve my taste of music in this sense. And thirdly, I can tell you that the third action that I want to tell you is that since 3 years, I attend to some examinations that are done by England, the Royal Schools of Music. So I try to improve myself and achieve some certificates from the school. So fourth, I can tell you that these three actions that I demonstrate, make me feel happy because I feel like I'm doing for myself to improve myself and becoming a more sophisticated person in this sense. So this makes me happy. In summary, I have told you about my personal commitment to playing piano and the two reasons that why I am personally committed to playing piano, and three actions that I have taken to demonstrate to my personal commitment. In conclusion,
There should be no doubt in this
there
room.
should be no doubt in this room that I'm personally committed to playing piano, and
Tie back.
yes, and I'm sorry.
Mario Andretti, the race car
Yes,
driver.
as he has said, it's important to. It's important. Desire is the key of motivation of my playing piano, of my hobby. But for sure that I believe it's for sure that it's my commitment that I attain success in this field. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sarah. Where are we? We're here. What did you like?
She is pretty well.
She what?
Pretty well.
She did pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay. What did she do pretty well on?
She is so fluent, I think.
Fluent. Okay. Good. Thank you. Improvement.
Daniel,
Hi, Danielle.
I didn't say anything particular. I don't know if you moved back and forth,
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
so maybe not.
Yeah, that will help you relax a little, Sarah, if you move 3 times. I didn't have to move the camera, so that was nice. I didn't really like your Andretti quote. It was too long and too wordy, and you spewed it out really quickly. You went, desire is the key to motivation, but it's determination, commitment to the unrelenting pursuit of goal, commitment to excellence, and enable you to maintain success. That's it. Yeah, it was a throwaway, right? Desire is the key to motivation. But it's determination and commitment to an unrelenting pursuit of your goal. A commitment to excellence that will enable you to attain the success that you seek. Now, that sound a little different? More understandable and comprehensible to your audience? So don't throw away quotes and find shorter quotes that are more pithy. And I guess Andretti and piano playing, I don't know. I guess it was an interesting juxtaposition. Whatever. So, you segued in from a race car driver into playing the piano. And you had 3 actions and 2 reasons, and you gave us a good roadmap of where you're going. That was fine. Your 6th statement, you talked about how people try to find ways to develop their selves, hand-eye coordination, sort of thing. I thought you could have sold the piano or taking up an instrument or having a hobby a little bit more, so you could have sold the speech. Remember, the significant statement sells the speech to the audience. It makes them want to listen. Not what Sarah's getting out of it. Oh, I have better hand-eye coordination. I have a better memory. Great. What have you done for me lately, Sarah? Right? Yeah. Okay, so your reason was, first off, it helps you with your depression. You failed a statistics test. You went back to your palatial home. You got on your grand piano. You pounded away for 2 hours. And you didn't think once about that statistics test. And your stress melted away. I've had the same experience. It's wonderful. And it's a great way to take your anger, emotions, and all your feelings, transmit them through the keys and out into the world. So you communicated that well, and that was your first reason, and it was pretty personal, and you returned to the emotion, and that's why you felt happy. Second reason was, you said it has value, and you told us about your supervisor whose son failed in learning to play the piano and you didn't, so he respected you more. That was kind of a sad story, but an interesting one nonetheless. On your actions, you talk about practicing regularly, and it's that discipline that you have that carries over into other things. If you have discipline to practice, you have discipline to do your homework and to do your other stuff, right? And I like the way you said, I don't just play the notes. I try to say, what is the conductor trying to communicate with feelings through the language of music, the feelings that are trying to be communicated. I thought that was your best point. And then the Royal School, that was consistent with your PC. You almost skipped it, but you said, when I perform these actions, I feel good, and so forth. Could have elaborated more on that, but don't skip that fourth step, folks. That's an important step. Your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all good. The only thing I'd like to see you do is move 3 times. Set that as one of your goals. Where are your goals? Where's your self-evaluation, etc.? Don't have one, huh? Okay. Did you see? We'll bring it.
Yes.
Okay. What were your goals, just anecdotally?
I think between, I could do the tie-back part, not the conclusion, but I could tie more fluently the stories. And
Better,
yes.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think this is
Better weaving, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it becomes more naturally when I tell you
Okay.
about my speech.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. Any more volunteers? Let me go up and down the list. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. Okay. Cynthia Ortiz. Again? Is that fair? I guess not, since you have a hoarse voice. All right, I'll choose some. I'll come back to you. I'll choose another one. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. Sienna Kramer. Hi, Sienna. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
That's swell. Just a minute, let me staple you together with my green stapler. Sienna, gotta focus, gotta get you in focus. Yes, okay. Sienna stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and center, showing your name for love textures.
Hi, my name is Sienna.
Hi, Sienna.
Hi. In the spring of 2013, a man known only as the North Pond Hermit was thrust into the limelight when he was rediscovered by modern society. In an interview with GQ magazine, he was asked why he had remained committed to solitude for more than 20 years. And his response was that in the absence of an audience, without someone to perform for, he was just there. To put it romantically, he was completely free. And while I don't consider myself to be a hermit, I can recognize in that statement a definition of a happy place. It's the way that I feel every time I pack a suitcase or change the time zone on my watch. And so today I want to share with you my personal commitment to traveling. I'm going to share with you 2 reasons why I'm personally committed to traveling, and 3 ways in which I've demonstrated this commitment already in my life. I think you'll be interested to hear about this personal commitment because it's born out of experiences that make me the person that I am today. The first reason why I'm personally committed to traveling is that it allows me a moment to step out of who I am and really assess who I am and what I want to do. When I'm at home in the comfort of my own routine, I find myself defined by the roles that I've kind of slipped into with my family, my friends, and my coworkers. But when I step out on my own to explore a new place, it allows me to reassess who I am without the job or the family or the friends to define who I am. For example, when I went to Europe, I found myself without my extroverted younger brother, who reinforces my role as the introverted older sister. And without that kind of reinforced role, I found myself, belting out, "You got that love and feel it" at a bar in Temple Bar in Ireland, and making friends with people in a hostel and going to Cinque Terre spontaneously for three days with them. So travel is an opportunity for me to step outside myself, strip myself down to my most anonymous being, freeing myself up to experience things that I wouldn't otherwise do. The second reason why I'm personally committed to travel is because I know that there's a very good chance that my feet may one day literally get out of me. And I want to be able to say that I've done and seen as much as I possibly can before that day comes. My dad suffers from a progressive neurological disease called CMT. And this disease is different for everyone who has it. For some people, it stops progressing after they've been left with chronic pain in their hands and feet. For other people, it continues until they have uncontrollable hand tremors as well. Still others, it robs of their ability to hear, to speak, or to swallow. You're just never sure when this disease is done with you. The other wrinkle to this is that it's genetic, it's hereditary. There's a very good chance that I have it. And so I want to make sure that I have done all of my traveling before it finds me. I've watched it rob my dad of some of the best parts of his personality, his joy, his patience, his sense of adventure. And I know that I can't count on being able-bodied by the time I retire. So I've made a promise to myself that I'm going to get out there and prioritize exploration and adventure and travel in my here and now, because I don't know if there's going to be a later time for that.
Excellent.
So now that I've shared with you 2 reasons why I'm personally committed to traveling, I want to show you how I've been personally committed, and I'm going to share with you 3 examples. The first came when I was young. I saved up for 2 years while I was in high school so I could join a research team to go to Fiji to study the coral reefs there. It was my first time traveling internationally alone, and it was also my first time being immersed in a different culture, my first time learning what it was to live a different life. It was incredibly eye-opening for me, and it started this love affair for me. The second example is more recent. My cousin invited me to go to the Philippines to spend some time with her family there, and it was a really last-minute invitation, and I had no money to do this, basically. But I ended up asking myself, in 30 years, are you going to regret not having saved this money, or are you going to regret not having gone? And it didn't take me long to realize that I was going to regret not having that experience, and so I bought the ticket. And it turned out not to only be an amazing adventure, but a great time for me to meet my extended family. I don't regret going to Manila at all. And the third way that I've shown my commitment to travel is in my career choice. As many of you know, I'm training to be a nurse. What you may not know is that that's actually informed a little bit by my commitment to travel. Nurses get an amazing opportunity to travel both domestically and internationally on a myriad of vaccination and relief effort campaigns. And I fully intend on making that a part of my career, to travel the world and also give back to the communities that I'm exploring. I've shared with you these 3 examples because they've all been examples of when I've prioritized travel in my life, and each one of them made me feel free and fulfilled. So in conclusion, I've told you 2 reasons why I'm dedicated to traveling, and 3 ways in which I've kept that commitment to myself. Every time I pack a bag and hit the road, I feel my most alive and my most myself. To put it in the words of the North Pond Hermit, without an audience to perform for, I can just be. I'm completely free when I travel, and I would have it no other way, because when I'm personally committed to traveling, every place is my happy place.
Thank you. Very nice. Where are we? Please.
I'm Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
I found her speech interesting because traveling is also my personal commitment.
What?
Traveling is also my personal commitment, so I
Oh.
found it interesting. She was fluent, and I love the way she highlighted her stories and emotions.
To the hermit? Yeah.
So,
Okay. Thank you. Is it your turn? Yeah. You spoke already. Okay, your turn. Improvement.
I'm Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
I have no idea what makes it true. I think she might have left out the one line you wish me no doubt this is important. Other than that.
But I'm really committed to traveling. Your conclusion, yeah. Your piece, your SIG statement could have been a little more audience-oriented to quibble a little, but it was an excellent speech. Let's go through it and give you some feedback. I thought, like the one we just saw, where we had a lot of personal revelations, this is what I was after. So that was good. North Pond Hermit. Well, gosh, it was grabber and interesting. I'm not so sure about, the link to travel, but I guess you sort of discover that in traveling. And I guess, I've done traveling alone, and I learned a lot traveling alone. It takes courage. I learned to go into pubs and join groups. I've learned to sit down, see groups at tables and say, hi, I'm an American, and I don't have anybody to sit with. Can I sit here? And they say, yeah, come on, sit down. It takes some courage to do that. Not everyone can do that, especially some women, it's taken wrong by some men, Okay, so your thesis was good. When you watch your PC tonight, I don't think it really sold it enough to the audience. Okay, so that's my critique of that. On your first reason, define it as me, my own routine, stripping it down to be myself. This is who I am. That was fine. That was this is who you are, and so you told us that. That was good. On your second reason was your best one when you talked to us about your father having CMT. That was what I meant by being personal and disclosing things and being authentic. That you don't normally walk up to people and say, hi, my dad has CMT, right? Right. So that was excellent, and that was good, really good. And you also revealed that this is the sword of Damocles sort of hanging over Sienna's head, right? And so you want to see the world before the old sword flies down, and I think that I like you explaining your motivation that way. That was really helpful to understand your burning desire and need to travel and to do it all along. I have on my Class Com 1 website, I have a value clarification quiz I give my students, coupled with the book. This book is not required, by Inga Bell. And one of the things that students say, one of the questions I ask the students is, how much time do you think you have left on the planet? You know what everyone says? 100, 110 years, 90 years. And then my next question is, what if you only had 5? What would you do? Why do you have that? Well, the biggest answer is, guess what people say? Travel. They would travel. They wouldn't put it off. And you told an example of your father. My parents were the same way. They put it off. And then my mother had this horrible injury where she couldn't travel as much. My dad didn't want to travel alone. They had all this money and nowhere to go. No way to go. Whoops. Right? So it's poignant. Right? Yeah. So, in high school, Fiji, good story. First action. Philippines, get the ticket. Good story. Becoming an RN so you can nurse anywhere. Good story. And how you feel? Good. Summary, conclusion could have been better. And your tie back to the North Pond Hermit was fine. So you did a really fine job. You really were authentic, and it was a personal commitment, as I was looking for. Thank you. Your kanais were to slow down, move 3 times, and have eye contact. Fortunately, Elliot here saved me because I was so engrossed in your speech I forgot to move the camera. Yeah. So how'd it go?
I felt the slowdown. I thought I was good about it in the first half, and then I felt it really get away from me towards the end, and I dropped that conclusion piece.
Yeah.
And just rolling through the momentum of it.
What was the time? Who timed?
You were supposed to time.
Sorry, I dropped the ball.
So then you pick it up, Elliot. Yeah, come on. Give us the program. Jesus. Okay. Come on, show some initiative.
But I thought I moved pretty deliberately.
Yeah, you moved well.
And I thought I was pretty good about the eye contact.
Yeah, the eye contact was good. So you did an excellent job. Thank you. Okay. Any more volunteers? You ready to do your film speech? Okay, we got a film speech break. Saved by the bell. Saved by the film speech. Okay. You guys get YouTube at your swinging bachelor pad in Westwood? Yeah. Okay, good. Tall. Oh, there you go. Stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes, making front and center. Say your name, feel the love, and communicate 3 emotions that a film made you feel.
Hi, I'm Ferhat.
Hi, Farah.
As Dan Wilcox said, I don't care how poor man is. If he has family, he is rich. My film is about this thought. Family relations provide our ways and how to figure out our behaviors. Today I want to share with a film that really moved me. It's a Turkish movie called My Father and My Son. It made me sad, frightened and happy. The film deals with some significant themes that I know you will be interested in. My first feeling is about sadness. The man who lived in a village, however, he didn't like his lifestyle for economical reasons, and he decided to move to city, and he wanted to become journalist, but he didn't become journalist because he got into illegal political issues. These days he met some woman, and they married. They believe same things, and they married. They had one child from this marriage. While his son's birth, he lost his wife, and he became cancer. My second story, my second feeling is about frightened. I have I had good relations with my family, and I grew with my cousin. My cousin married with foreign girl, and he moved to other country. It made me feel very frightened because I saw that some reasons could be fall apart for our family. So it made me feel frightened, and my last feeling about is happiness.
A grandfather, grandson's death.
Okay. When I'm sorry. How can I?
Well, just tell us about your own family situation, the traffic accident.
Yes.
And why you felt happy afterwards.
2 years ago, I had a traffic accident, and I became terrible mode. My mom and my dad very interested me. I think it's. I couldn't.
Maybe were going to yell at me, but they didn't. They treated me with kindness, and I felt happy.
Oh. I lost my mind now.
Okay. Well, let's have a summary. In summary,
I told you about my 3 feelings. In summary, I have shown you 3 ways that this film moved me. It made me sad, frightened, and happy. There should be no doubt in this room. Film really moved me. I feel very rich because I have a good family.
thank you. Okay, where are we? Here? What'd you like?
Hi, I'm Elliot.
Hi, Elliot.
I liked the tie back, but I got really lost during the pausing and all that. But the tie back and the intro I could remember, and those were fine.
Okay, improvement.
Hi, my name is Sienna.
Hi, Sienna.
I think just maybe practicing a little bit more so you know where you're going next. I mean, you have your note card. Feel free to use it if you need it to get you out of a jam.
Yeah. You started with Dan Wilcox, who expressed no man is poor if he has his family. So go back to Dan Wilcox in the end, and you have your mom and dad, so I don't feel poor. Okay, that's bookends. So that's the first thing. Second thing, you had a good thesis preview. You told us you were going to do a Turkish movie, My Father, My Son. Made you feel sad, frightened, and happy. Now, here's where you went wrong. You gave us too long a plot summary of what happened in the movie, all this death, cancer, all she died, all this stuff. What you didn't do was tell us what happened to you, your story, why it made you sad when you said, I lost my grandmother from breast cancer. And you need to remember how sad you felt when you lost your grandmother from breast cancer. Remember that? You sense it. You get a tear in your eye, and I felt sad. You remember that. Second way the film moved me was frightened. You watched the family fall apart. You said, I have a cousin. What was his name? Beirut? What? Beirut. So, but I don't care what his name is. but give them a name so stories have better when you have details. My cousin Beirut married a foreign girl from Ireland, and they moved off to Czechoslovakia, and they had a hard time of it. And this made me feel frightened because I'm thinking of moving off too, and I think this will scare me. La 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 la. Tell your personal story. Third story, happy. I tried to tease it out of you. You had an accident, and you're worried about your parents, but they understood, right? And that's what made you feel happy, right? Yeah. But you didn't communicate that. So what you didn't do, Pharaoh, is communicate your own personal stories and remember the feelings that they were there to communicate. You wanted to be better fluent, be better with the language, and tell better stories. How'd it go?
I don't know. I'll do more practice.
Practice helps. But you got it done today, and you should be proud of that. Thank you. Okay.
My first speech is more well, I think.
Yeah. But you're getting it done.
All of them, it's mixed on my mind.
Just keep practicing. So, okay, how's our time looking? Yeah, we got good time. Okay, how's the... Yeah, we even got battery. Any more volunteers? Oh, la-dee-da-dee-da. Okay, sit. Oh, I hit Cynthia again. Oh, so good. Divanshu. Cynthia. No, Christina.
One more time.
She's not here? Oh, la-dee-da-dee-da. Okay. Deanna Dela Cruz. Deanna Dela Cruz.
Can I actually do it next week? Because I wanted to improve it because I missed something out that I wanted to add.
Everyone wants to do it next time. You'll be fine, Deanna. Okay. Deanna stands before you. They're talking, communicating respect, non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start. By the way, Deanna. Oh, you did do it in outline form. I was going to say your introduction.
Really long.
Your introduction really goes on for a while, doesn't it? Okay. Well, good for you. Okay. Well, we like long introductions. Let me focus you up because you're a different height than the others. Okay. In fact, I have to actually reframe the camera. Okay. No, that's bad. Okay. Deanna stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. And she's about to be authentic and share with us something very personal that she's committed to. Your timing? Thank you.
Hi, my name's Deanna.
Hi, Deanna.
Hi, Addie. It's a beautiful name for a beautiful girl, short for Addison and Adeline. It is an acronym for an Instructional Systems Design Model. A standing for analysis, D standing for development, D standing for design, I standing for implementation, and E standing for evaluation. Addie, slang for amphetamine pills, also known as Adderall. As you may or may not know, Adderall is a drug that treats narcolepsy and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. But more commonly, it is known as an enhancer among college students. That allows the user to focus for a long period of time. When I first went to college, before I went to college, I had heard of Adderall, but I never really thought anything of it until one evening I was eating dinner in the dining hall with my friend and her friends. My friend mentioned that she hadn't been eating in the dining hall for over a week. She said she didn't need to because she had Addie. I didn't really know what she was talking about. I was kind of like, okay, whatever. And then she went on to say, I stay up all night and I'm doing really well in my classes because I have Addie. I was sort of like, okay, what is this? And then she went on to say, but I'm losing my hair. Then her friends were like, oh my gosh, you should be eating when you're taking Adderall. And then it hit me, and it made me realize that she was taking Adderall. From this situation, it made me see how different college was, and it was a huge eye-opener. Then one of her friends told me, and she said to me, if you ever feel the need in your college career to ever use Adderall because you feel the pressure to succeed in college, just hit us up. You know where to find us. From that evening, it made me see college in such a different light, and it made me see that in college you have the decision to sink or swim. You can swim by your own successes and your own hard work, or you can sink by using other means. And I decided from that evening that I want to succeed by swimming through my own hard work and determination. I don't want to fall under the stress of my family or society in itself. So today I want to share with you my personal commitment to being successful in college. I will share with you today 2 reasons why I want to be successful in college and 3 actions I have done to become successful in college. After all, a commitment is worth more when you actually put action behind it, according to
Stephen Brunkhorst.
According to Stephen Brunkhorst. So my first reason why I'm personally committed to being successful in college is because this last quarter I failed my first college class, which was Chem 14B. It was thermodynamics. It was chemistry and thermodynamics. It was a very hard class, and I have to say that overall college has been really difficult, especially academically. It's a huge transition because I especially came from a really small school that was wasn't as advanced as other high schools, I think. But it was very difficult in many ways because failing the class showed me that I had to learn to balance all of the problems that were going on in my life and school as well, which was very hard because failing a class showed me that life is
challenging at
Life
times.
is challenging at times, and there are many obstacles that you will have to face. For instance, one obstacle that I had to face this quarter, along with taking that class, was that my grandma died in February, and when she died, my mother, she fell under a psychotic break, which many of you may not know. A psychotic break is a psychological state where someone who already has a psychological disorder becomes even more, it intensifies because of stress. So my mom, she's diagnosed with bipolar disorder with psychosis, and it affected our family really greatly. It was very hard to focus on school and at the same time want to do work, because a lot of the times I felt so emotionally overwhelmed that I was just frozen, and I felt like I didn't want to really be here, and I wanted to be at home. That part was really hard, and failing a class showed me that there are many times in life where that's going to happen, and I have to just balance that. So the second reason why I want to be successful in college is because I came to college for two reasons. The first reason is I want to become a nurse. And becoming a nurse isn't easy, even though many people may think it is or may not. But I want to become a nurse because I want to help people. And failing a class hasn't discouraged me from wanting to discourage me from my major. If anything, it has actually made me more determined to become a nurse, because I know that the struggle is hard, but the reward is so much greater. And the second reason why I came to college is because I want to learn to balance my life. I want to learn how to be able to manage my friends, my family, my other activities, and my school, because life is all about balance. So today, right now, I will share with you 3 actions that I have done towards my personal commitment to being successful in college. The first action is that I remind myself why I'm here, and I focus more. So I tell myself that I'm here in college for these reasons, and then by focusing, I allow myself to really acknowledge that college is important and studying is an important aspect of college life. So I spend at least 2 hours a day for each class I'm taking. And then the second action I have done to take is that I've made a schedule, because I've learned that time management, as much as I really don't like schedules, you have to schedule and you have to manage your time to be successful, especially in college with everything that's going on. So I've spent a lot of time to do work, to wash dishes, to do laundry, but at the same time have time to study and sleep enough. The third action that I have done is I have taken on volunteering at Ronald Reagan Hospital. I believe that college is more of an experience, and college has so much to offer you in the sense that you can meet different people, you can have so many opportunities in front of you, but you'll only be able to experience them if you let it. And so I've decided to volunteer because I feel that if I study too much, not study too much, but if I focus so much on studying, I won't be able to see what's really important. Because there's more to life than studying. So, in conclusion, there should be no doubt in this room that I am personally committed to being successful in college. So, in short, I don't need my Adderall, my Addy to be amphetamine pills. I just need my Addy won't be amphetamine pills. It'll be my determination, my hard work, and my personal commitment to being successful in college.
Thank you very much. Very nice. Where are we? Here? Where are we? Here. Yeah, here.
My name is Isa2.
Hi, Isa2.
I thought the stories that you gave were really good. And I thought they had a lot to do with the points you were making.
Yeah, very personal. Very on point. Who's next? You're next? Sure. How can she improve?
She can improve by making it a little shorter.
What was the time?
8:48.
Ooh, 9 minutes. Wow, you went on and on and on and on and on and on. You almost ran out the camera battery. Yeah, before we run completely out of camera battery, let me give you some feedback. You made a very strong point about Addy and Adderall and the overuse of stimulants by some students, and you gave a real long story. In my judgment, too long. You could have made your point in half the time and still made that point effectively. And you were in contrast to it, saying, I'm not going that way. And that was strong and that was good. When you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you're going to see that you do this constantly. You sway like this. You didn't walk 3 times purposely. You just sway. Stop swaying. Use the power stance to be a tripod. walk over there for point 1, walk over there for point 2, back to the center for point 3. On your thesis preview, it was fine. You stumbled a little on your SIG statement. It's kind of tough on that one. On your first reason, you were honest about failing chemistry and how that went, and you were honest about your mother having a nervous breakdown. Thank you for sharing that with us and having the courage to do that. I'm very honored and grateful that you did, and that must have been very difficult, and I wish you the best in going through that. But you remember the first, not to dismiss that, but you remember the first video I showed you with Steve Jobs is we all get hit in the head with bricks. The difference between the people that are successful is not is what happens next. Do you get up and keep it going, or do you sit down and whine and cry and freak out and go, oh, poor me? And you got up and kept it going, which I really liked. And you dealt with your mother, and you dealt with the failure of your chems thing, and you kept it going, and that's good. There's a book called Late Bloomers in which people that are persistent, that get their act together a little later, I deal with lots of people that were bloom a little later in life, and so you might want to take a look at that. On your actions, I thought you didn't quite know them real well exactly, but they were good. And they were a little wordy, so you could have had them more succinct, and that would have saved you time. Your summary, conclusion, and tieback were good. Your goals were to move around, smooth the transitions, and have more of a presence. How'd it go?
I could still improve.
What now?
I could still improve.
Yes, you could. And my big thing for you would be to stop this swaying and to tell your study buddy or whomever you're practicing with to have them watch you on YouTube, and you're going to see you do this constantly. And stop that, and you can do that with wider leg stance. That will get you out of that, and walk purposefully. And more emphatic style of delivery where certain keywords are emphasized. Other than that, thank you for sharing the personal information, and good luck to you. I believe in your personal commitment, and I commend you for not doing it with Addie. So thank you.
I have to go. I'm a scrimmage right now.
What?
I have to go right now. Like,
You mean you have to leave the room?
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Have a good life. Don't change. So you mean you're not doing your speech there? You have to leave.
Yeah.
What's your name so I can put you down first for next time?
Daniel.
Daniel, my brother. Daniel Harper. Okay, good, Daniel. Okay, we have probably time for one more. Does anyone have their computer here with them? Their laptop? You do. No one else does? You do. You have your laptop with you? You want to do your PC? You already did your PC. You did your PC. That doesn't help me. I need somebody because I can't download a single speech. I have to have at least 30 minutes. So, yeah. So I guess our work is done for the day. I'll stay behind and look and talk with you about any of your speeches or questions you might have. And remember, the minute we get the PC done, we're going to whip right into the persuasives. And do respect the time them. So we don't have these 9-minute speeches. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. Oh yeah, let me have my models back. Are you done with the model? Yeah. Great. Okay. Return with honor.
Bye.
Bye.
Is it okay if the essay is longer than 20 pages?
Yes, it is. Sure. It could be 24, it could be 30.
Okay, thank you.
One girl did 35, but 24 was good.
Wow.
If it's okay to recheck my
Thank
new
you guys
PC.
so much.
Yeah, let's recheck it as we walk over to my office. Okay, let me get packed up. Let me see here. So this is